Okay. So on the BP room, on begin play. Uh, so event active again equals get player. Let's see if this works. So if it is true, set view target, set view set target. What is it? Set view target blend. Okay. We need to do it off the camera, of course. Set view target. Face the camera. Set view target with. Right, so I need the player controller. Sure. Okay. So if we get our target, get player controller. Self. Okay, let's get the context. Let's go back on. Self blend time 0. Cool. Get player controller. So let's see what happens. Did I set generate overlap events? Yeah, overlap or dynamic. So print other actor. What if we start him up high? This is working. No, not Blender. We're in Unreal right now. Hello, Yash. But this is exactly what I wanted to happen. But I guess event begin overlap. I do want that to happen. That's fine. But what I should also do is begin play on the room. If get overlapping actors with class filter top down character get okay, cool, thanks Yash. Until I get 1k or 1k or get a copy index 0 branch is valid. So this should, if on begin play, if the player is currently overlapping the box already, the room box, that sounds like Roomba box, room box, it should then also make the, nope, that doesn't work. So let's see, print. What are we getting on begin play? We're getting, let's get like length. Length of this is 0 on begin play. I guess we need a tiny delay, but I don't like putting in delays on begin play, especially when I'm at the beginning of development. That's a really bad thing to do. Should this be? I think this should be handled by the room, not by the character. So what we should do is... No, we shouldn't do that. What is the best way to check that? So let's just... Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a very peaceful stream, don't worry. Let's just check that the issue I'm having is what I expect. Yeah. So what's happening here is that the room is checking if the actor's there before the actor exists. I can probably fix this by just taking this and going, if I set this back to 0, put it like this. Is that going to work? Cool. Why are you not inhabiting this one? I want you to inhabit this person. So... the top-down character doesn't actually need camera. Let's bring it on. This can all... Or do I want to just set the camera settings? No, I don't want to do that. Thanks, Yash. I hope for it to have lots of success too. That'd be nice. Let's use the player start node. Start. Put it back to 0, 0, 0. I just took out... Oh, there's still got the delay. Event post load. Event begin play. What's the smart way around this problem? Because we've got event begin play, but character is spawning. So I guess what we should do is not have this handled here. What we should do is make a custom event, set current room, or set as current room, which will do this code. And if it begins overlapping, it should set as current room. And if the top-down character begin play, do all this. Let's also just make a sequence node, and we'll collapse this into our begin play subgraph. Collapse nodes to begin play. And inside of here, we'll then do another thing. I don't know if this is the most efficient, but if we get overlapping actors. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes, you know, you don't feel motivated, and that's fine. But I don't know, I just try to... Do I have a method to keep staying motivated? If I'm not feeling motivated, I just make sure that I am creating things I'm excited by. That's the key thing. And if you're not creating something you're excited by, you've got to find something in there that you do find exciting. Whether it's not the whole project, it's just got to be something. Set as current room. So now this should all work without any delays. Beautiful. And now when I get to the edge, it should go to the next room. And this should be dynamically set, I guess. Maybe I can make it, just do it custom. How about you? What sort of creating do you do? Are you a game designer as well, or do you do art, or what's the vibes? We looked at our, so we got where's the movement, locked top down camera, how mesh is done. Simplify. Yeah, we're working on that well. This is a bit overly simple. We'll probably have to figure out later on, like a methodology of choosing the correct room. If there are two overlapping rooms that won't work properly, this right now. Okay, so let's have a look at our top down character. I want to look at the character movement because I want it to be like snappy movement, almost like a 2D game. So like almost zero momentum. So if we change max acceleration to like 3000, gravity scale 1.5, braking friction like 10, and then max walk speed 500, a little bit slower, and deceleration when walking 3000. I'm using Unreal at the moment. That's what I'm doing. And if we also set our turn, where's the rotation rate? We set this to like 10,000. Orient rotation to movement is correct. But that's starting to get some anti-aliasing issues. So let's revert this back. Maybe just set it to like 800, maybe. I think that's looking a bit better. Great. That's our top-down movement basics implemented already. Simplify character blueprint. Let's have a look at our top-down controller and make sure we strip out any functionality that we don't need in there. We don't need any of this. I don't want to use click. I don't want to use click. Respawn player, I don't want to use that either. I'll save. So that's now just stripped out empty. My status with bugs. Well, it's easy because this is a completely new project, so the bugs don't exist yet because there's no code to be buggy yet. Oh, that's interesting. If I'm walking and I walk down left, tap right, nothing happens. If I walk down right, tap left, I start going left, which is correct. So is there something in the input? IM move default W S D. What about A first and S first? Does the order change anything? No. The order doesn't do anything on the move. Whistle input. Gate. Gate. A. B. So why does D triggers? Oh, it's not a trigger, it's a modifier. Modifier. What if I did like Swizzle impact as values here as well? that doesn't work at all. Okay, that definitely doesn't work. Let's delete that. So if we're moving right, let's open up my test project again that I was working from. Documents. Unreal projects. There was one that I had like ref project. Just open this one up quickly because I want to have a look to see if it does the same thing in the third person. That's nice, Vicky. Third person blueprints, third person character. Let's first see if it behaves the same. If I yeah, it's doing the same thing here. So it just seems like a fault with the input system. So let's ask the internet. UE5 enhanced input. If I am holding W and D and press A, it doesn't move left. Locate interaction I move. Check accumulation behavior to okay, let's see if we can find this. Do you like turtles? I mean, that's a classic internet thing, but yeah, I'd say I like turtles. Not here, it's some in here. In IA move. Let's change it to cumulative. Is that just is that all I need to do? Is that now functioning how I'd expect? Yeah, cool. That was easy. No. That's the whole point of streaming, is that I get to talk to people and hear their opinions and see what's going on. It's not distracting at all. If I didn't want to get distracted, I wouldn't stream. Okay. So, WSD movement's done. This is basic play movement done. Let's just make a quick forward view. What's the next thing I want to do? I want to make the basic interaction interface. Or should I make the room system better? So firstly, I should probably make the size of the room match the viewport size. How would I do that? Let's ask this. UE5, is there a way to track if an object moves off screen? UI and track. I mean, it would definitely be simpler to just have the camera follow the player, but I think that's less fun. And or maybe I can have the camera follow the player when you're outside. When you go into a building, it gets fixed. I think that might actually be better. A more natural way to explore the world. I think I'd rather you be locked in the center, probably. Okay, so let's change this whole setup then. So the BP room isn't based on an overlap. It'll be based on a function of like entering the room. I'm from England, how about you? Begin play also doesn't need to do this anymore. Find and set to a room. But what I do need to do is on our capsule is add back our spring arm. And we'll get a camera. Our spring arm will add a camera. And we will set this rotation like 60. Is that what I set it for in the room? Minus 70. So minus 70, and then I think, what did I set the room stuff? What do I do? BP room 4000. Delete that room. Close down this. Make the spring arm camera target arm length to like 4100 or 4000. I'm a bit closer now that it is following, so maybe like 700, 750. And the camera will set the perspective to like 50 degrees. And then let's see how that looks. Oh, okay. So first thing, spring arm. How do we make this not rotate with the camera? Use inherit nothing. There we go. Beautiful. I think this is just a simpler system that will work better for this game, especially with the tight dev time. It's just one. It's like an extra system that's like not needed, you know. Cool. So I guess what we need to do now is create a basic interaction interface, because that's most of the game, is just interacting with stuff and seeing narrative and choices and stuff like that. So I guess what we should do is make our interface. Oh, it's been a while since I've used interfaces. So new folder, interaction, a new blueprint class. We'll do a new folder, BP blueprints, and then new blueprint class, all classes, interface. Blueprint interface. We'll name this BPI interact. Cool. So we've got a function. So let's get up our Miro board we had. And remind ourselves of what this needs to do. Because we have this. So interact with objects. We need to do our choice data management. Cool. Interact with objects need to have an interact function, which starts everything. And then it needs to have a... Can interfaces have variables? Or interface is just a set of functions? That's an interesting question. So I think the interactable object interface Is interface the right thing to use? I think it's useful to have. So we've got a begin interaction. Maybe even just to try begin interaction. And then a new function which is end interaction. And this is going to have, I put the mirror on my second monitor so I can see what's on the screen. So this is going to have, end interaction is going to have a few inputs. So firstly, what we need to do is in here, we need to create a new folder called choices. Maybe I don't do that yet. New blueprint structure, which is going to be st_choice. Wild guess, one hint, I'm in Asia. I'm going to guess South Korea. Why not? st_choice. So a choice, I already have noted down what a choice needs to know. Let's get up our design documents. Base choice system. It needs a story event name. So a tooltip, it needs a story event name, which is going to be a string. Add variable. I somehow doubt that. Display name. So is this display name going to be in the choice system, or should this actually be held on the interactable? I think this should be held on the interactable. I think that's not needed. I think this is not actually part of the choice system necessarily. What would base? Do I base odds? I haven't really figured out the odds system. Base odds. It's going to be a 2 vector. 2 vector. Int vector 2. I think actually that's the better one, vector 2D. Let me get some Oscar model as well. Use item class. So we're going to need a new blueprint enumerator, which is use item classes. This is going to be a enum underscore use item classes. Enum class. Let's just add the ones we know about in here. So that's going to be currency, weapon, consumable, and story. Cool. And then go back to our dev board. And then we need use item override. So we need to have a let's not do this for a minute. Let's just get the base thing happening where you have a choice, two choices that have names, or even just one choice that has names, and that then creates a thing. I think let's add things one at a time. Let's not try and do everything at once. So bplayEnteract interact. End interaction has a few inputs. Oh no, it has outputs. No, inputs, which is going to be finished. Which is going to be choice selected. It's going to be a st choice variable, and it's going to be a successful question mark, which is going to be a boolean. So when you end an interaction, you know, did I actually finish an interaction or did I press the cancel button? Which choice did I select, and was that choice successful? So begin interaction. What's the best way to structure this? Begin interaction. Okay. The problem is if this is a interface, I can't actually attach any code to it. If I have something that always happens when you start an interaction or end an interaction, I have to put it on every single blueprint that uses this interface. Every single interaction is going to involve some things, which I guess means that it'll just be a child. But child actors starts getting complicated, but we'll I guess we'll figure that out as we go. So interaction blueprints interactables. Let's create a new blueprint class and we'll name it actor, and it's bp interactable, and we will give it nothing because we don't really know what interactables have right now. bp interactable object, and we do need to add an interface, so that in class settings, inherited implemented interface, add interact, bp interact. So if I begin interaction, print string, try start interact, I'll save. And this will also need an choices. It will be st choice. It'll actually be a map of text or string, I guess, map, and st choice. So every interactable will have a set of choices determined by this variable. That's good. And then so let's pull out a BP interactable object, put it on that grid space there, and we'll add a static mesh, and we'll name this cube, and we will give it a cube. Why do we have so many different cubes? Whatever, that'll do. Tap it up until it's there. Now this actor is just a cube that we can eventually interact with, but right now it doesn't do anything. So how are we going to deal? What's the best way to interact? Is it just like a radius check? For the moment, let's our top-down character. Let's start making a basic interact input system. So on our caps component, let's make a box collision. We'll name this interact box, and we'll put this in front of the character, or like half in front. I'll make it a little bit deeper. No, it's fine depth. A little bit wider, so it's just a bit wider than the character. And we'll make it the same height as the character. So now anything inside this box. So let's make a new input. Player, input, enhanced. Input action. IA interact. IMC default. Let's add a new mapping. We'll name this IA interact. And it's going to be keyboard E. Keyboard E. Not delete. And we're going to say it's on trigger rest. Released. Threshold. And now what we need to do is our top-down character is add a enhanced input interact. We will collapse these nodes and put them into movement. So on triggered, get the interact box, get overlapping actors, get overlapping actors, do a class filter or interface. This is not very good code, this one. But for the moment, let's do a... I don't think I want to do a class one. I just want to do a... for each loop with break, has interface. I want to check, like, does the actor have an interface? So this is a actor object reference. Class to interface or get interface. Get components by interface. Class API interact. Length greater than 0. Branch true. Promote to variable. Actor to interact. True. Break. So the first thing we should do when we try and interact is set actor to interact. False, nothing. And then on the complete, we'll get actor to interact. Validated get. Completed. If it's valid, try start. Try interact. Try begin interact. Great. Okay, that didn't work. So let's see what's not working. Print string interact. Loop body. Does this have overlap? Yes. All dynamic. Test actor. Print string found interface. So it's testing actors, but it's not finding the interface, apparently. So let's just print out, when we're testing an actor, what's the actor called? Let's just test that for the moment. Then we have to find another check for like interactable object is coming back. So I guess what we have to just do is actually just not this. We don't actually need actor to interact any of this shit. We can just take this actor and try and interact. And if it works, I mean, I don't like that either actually, but why is that not working? Target is BPI. Maybe let's check UV5 how to check if an actor has an interface. For example, just a reference. Does implement into, there we go. That's what we wanted all along. API interact. I knew that the node existed. True. Set actor to interact. and then try begin interaction. Woo, that worked. This print string got called, so that's all good. So we've already got, technically speaking, an interaction system that is working. The problem is we have no feedback to the player or anything like that, but we can worry about that later on. For the moment, let's just get some level of functionality working. I want to get to the point where choices are displayed and you can roll the dice and see the results. I think that's the key part. That's the key mechanic, right? Stuff like sending inventory items and using things to modify the odds and all that sort of stuff. That's later down the line. So I should probably work on the UI, because that's the next thing to do, is show the UI. Of course, we still need to work on like the pause game and the time stuff, but that can also come later. Nice. But we are not clearing it. Set active to interact is not being cleared anymore. What we should probably do also is collapse the function, which is going to be called test. Hey Ash, test interactable test or find interactable object. What we'll do for the moment is delete this and give an output of actor interact actor. Bike or a car? I'm a car person, not a bike person. Actor object reference is valid. True. Why are we not doing this just inside here? I don't know. This is cleaner, but I don't think it's actually any better code. In fact, I think it might be worse code. Let's undo what we just did. This I think is worse. Because if we make, I wanted to do this so I could make this variable a local variable. But I think that if actor to interact is local, it means later on we can't get that data if we need to for some reason. Like, what if you like quit the game mid-interaction? Do we want to save that data? So I think it's worth keeping as a thing right now. For the moment, let's collapse nodes to interactions. Up here. Let's try and be tidy from the beginning. So what we've got right now is you can move around, you can go up to objects, and you can press interact, and it tries to interact with it. That's already a great start. Okay. Okay. What's the next thing? So on our BP interactable now, this is going to need to create a UI. So blueprints interactables, we'll make a new, maybe in interaction, we'll make a new folder called UI, and we'll do a user interface widget blueprint, and we'll do a widget blueprint interaction, user widget blueprint interaction, and we'll create a new space widget blueprint choice widget blueprint choice. So an interaction is going to spawn choices. Interaction is going to be widget blueprint interaction will be fill screen, screen size, and it's not going to blur or anything, but it's going to have a canvas panel, and it's going to have a horizontal box. The horizontal box is going to be anchored to the bottom middle, and it's going to be alignment 0.5 and 1. Its position is going to be 0, 0, and we're just going to move it up a bit like so, and it's going to be size to content. So when you start an interaction, it will get how many choices the interaction has, and it will spawn those choices as we go. So then the widget blueprint interaction, why does it have the actor? A widget blueprint choice is going to be a desired on screen, maybe? Desired? Just desired. It's going to be a button, which is going to be called choice button, and that's going to have a horizontal box inside of it. That horizontal box is going to have some text. Text is going to be what size font? 24 is fine. We'll name this choice name. And duplicate that with X out of Y. And we will wrap the horizontal box with a size box, and we will set a 0, 0 choice horizontal box padding 0, 0. The choice button, does that have like content padding? Advanced, style, normal? We type like pad. Normal padding, pressed padding. Let's do it like 1.5, 2, and then 1.5. I don't know if the press padding should be different. Let's just leave it all the same for the moment. And then our size box, we will width override with 1,000, like 500. And then we will align choice with fill that. And we'll do an append, like a choice thing. We'll just like do a dot, 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 whatever. And size box, that's all good. So in our interaction, horizontal box, we'll make this a variable, and we'll make this choices, or h horizontal box underscore choices. So on our widget blueprint choice, first thing we'll do is on our choice button, we'll just tint the whole thing. This background color, yeah, background color. Tint that darker. File save. In graph, we'll make a new use event construct. We'll need to have like a choice data, would be our struct choice, and we'll have a choice title, which will be a string, and both of these should be instant editable expose on spawn, instant editable expose on spawn. I'll save. And so event construct, we take our choice title, and we will get our choice name. Choice name. We'll let txt underscore choice name. Txt underscore choice odds is variable. The choice name set text. Set text function. Where's that? Set text. And we will text a string to text that. So this will be the, in our interactable object, we have these choices. This will be what passes through there. So what we should probably do is now in our, maybe just like make a miscellaneous folder, misc folder, a new folder, blueprints. In here, make a blueprint class function library, blueprint function library. Why can't I just make a blueprint function library? That doesn't make any sense to me. This class is a base class for any function library exposed to blueprints methods. Subclass is static. Edit this. What is this? Is this what I mean? BPL blueprint library, BPFL for generic, BP generic functions. In here, we'll make a new function which is start interaction. There's a few places we'll need to call this. I think it's important that it's a thing. So firstly, it needs a input of choices, which is going to be a, oh, I can't use a map, or I can't use a map of booleans maybe. String map and then st choice. So it has a variable of choices. So it's going to create widget get world context. Oh, how does that work? Owning player class interaction. So this needs a choices. It'll be a string, and it'll be a map of strings and st choices. I'll save, and it's instance editable, doesn't spawn. I'll save. So now when we compile save this, something else, and interaction. Now choices, we just pass this through. Add to viewport. Get player controller. How do we get world context again? World context. How does this work? I need to get something here. Maybe like if I get a instigating factor, or maybe name this interact interactable, and we interactable, and we change this back from a mat to a single, and we change this to an actor. Can I put this as well context? Great, that's perfect. Beautiful. So if at the moment widget loop interaction just on construct takes this and get values, or just values and keys. So for each loop of key, get a copy of this one, and we're going to create widget of class choice. It'll be choice data, and if we just reorganize these, then it'll be nicer here. Maybe it's not nicer here, like this. This goes in here. Choices. Great. For each of these, make a choice. File, save. Get horizontal box. Add child. Let's do add child to horizontal box, because you get more variations of information if you do it to the specific of the child actor. That's all good. We've done quite a lot of things. What we haven't done, of course, is on here is do start interaction. What do I call this function? What is start interaction? So why is that not available? Start interaction. Interactable, self. Is this not allowed? Error. Choices. Blueprints. This blueprint itself is not a generic function, therefore hard method connection. Unity 5, how to make a generic functions library accessible to all blueprints. Does it need to be C++? Solved. Not sure what to do with that one. Let's see what this person said.
This is Rumbod. In this
I've been on my speakers the whole time.
tutorial, you'll learn how to create static utility functions in C++ that are instantly available in every blueprint. If you want powerful global nodes without extra setup, subscribe and let's get started. In any Unreal project, blueprint only or full C++, you can still create new C++ classes. Let's add our utility library. In the search box, type blueprint.
Okay, I think this has gone wrong, so let's delete this for the moment. and we will make a new generic functions. Generic functions underscore old. So new blueprint class. Oh, wait, it's not.
Switch to the all class our utility library. Open the tools menu at the top and choose new C++.
Tools, new C++ class, all classes. Let's get this on my schematic for a moment.
Plus class. The class wizard appears. Switch to the all classes tab so we can search every parent type. In the search box, type blueprint function library. The result called blueprint function library is exactly what we need for global static nodes. Select it and click next. Unreal suggests the file name my blueprint function library. That's fine for this demo, so leave it as is.
Generic blueprint library. Cool.
Press create. Unreal generates the header and source files and starts a compile.
What is it? Oh, he uses a phantom dev. Yes.
Press create. Unreal generates the header and source files and starts a compile. When the compile kicks off, your chosen IDE opens the new files. I'm using JetBrains Rider, the free non-commercial edition, because it's code analysis and hot reload support are excellent.
But did this work? I don't think it worked. Generic. I think that worked. Tools. Maybe generate Visual Studio project. Error occurred. Discover modules. Huh. I think it's not going to work. Okay, I won't do a generic blueprint library right now. I'll move this to a generic option later on, because for the moment I don't need it as a generic option, because technically speaking, this is only in one place, which is on BP Interactable at the moment. But later on it will need other things. But this blueprint library thing that I made is clearly the wrong thing. I'll research this later. I'll force delete it. Get out of here. Just check the redirectors. Great. So back on interactable object. If we just do that same code but on this, so get values and keys. So for each loop of the keys, get the value, and we will. Oh no, no, we don't need to do this. This is in there. We need to just do. So firstly, I guess we need like a interactable, and then do a branch. If it's interactable, true. Create widget class interaction. We'll pass through the choices, and we will add to viewport. I'll save. So on our interactable test object here, we need to set this value, whatever this value is. So I should. Did I set it as a no? This is an instance editable action. So our map, let's have one choice, which will be choose wisely. Store event name is test choice. Base odds are 1 in 6. And use item class doesn't matter right now. Oh, I should probably put none in there. So in our blueprints, in our item classes, let's add a numerator none. Without the default, I'll save. And then here, reset to default, it's none. Great. So, interactive object passes through that data. The widgets should now create one of those each of them. And then the choice, when it gets created, should set its name text. We have not set interactable to be defaulted true. We should probably also expose this. Let's make this into a interaction. Ahaha! We have our UI. Can we still move around though? Yes. That's probably, you can probably make infinite of them as well. So we'll need to start thinking about how to implement that stuff as well. Okay. Oof. Down the rabbit hole we go, I guess. So what should happen? So when you start an interaction, we should also sequence get player controller cast to top-down controller. And what we'll do, as the top-down controller, we'll make a new function on there, player, which will be in fact, we should probably move the input, and the input stuff should probably be moved off the player character onto the player controller, really. So let's do that first. The top-down character, movement and interactions. Can we just copy these two whole things? Seems to. Interactions 2. Act to interact, promote to variable. That's all good. I'll save. So let's first begin play. Get player character. Cast to top-down character. Promote to variable player char. Maybe just character. So in interactions, firstly we'll get player char and get interact box. Get interact box, and that can be plugged into the overlap. Is moving over to the self. Get player char shell. Boom, boom. File, save. And then on the top down character, as for the moment, just unhook it and see if it all still works. Great. And what do we do on begin play? Do we need to do that now? We should probably do this now on our controller. Begin play. Sequence. Firstly, we'll get the character, then get enhanced input. Set node. Add mapping context. Add mapping context. Default. Done. I'll save. On the character, unhook all of begin play. And then see if anything still works. Great. Everything still seems to be working. Hook begin play back up. I'll actually delete everything now. Don't need any of that. Inputs, outputs, don't need that. Movement interactions can go. Put down controller. We'll collapse this. Boom. Collapse nodes to begin play. Then we'll name this movement and interactions. And on the movement, we will just do a little maybe branch true in menu. Get in menu. Let's do a not bool. Okay. And so on interaction, when we make this, the next thing on interactable object, we'll cast the controller and we'll do set in menu true. And we'll also controller, top down character, top down controller on our interactions. Triggered. Branch. True. Not bool. In menu. We should probably clap that to it. So right now you can press E and then I can't move or press E or do anything. That's perfect. And only once I either leave this menu or make a choice can I get out. So let's just format our choice real quick. So let's go close this, widget blueprint choice. So our choice data, let's split, get our odds, split, and then get our odds, and we'll make this into a function. Set text. Collapse the function, which is update odds display. Base odds x and y. So then we will to string. And we will then append. We'll do x/y. That should be simple enough. which then also int, maybe to int to integer round. I don't really want an integer 64 because I only want a 64. Maybe actually we've got a deeper issue that our odds should be a whole number, should be an integer. Because they're always going to be on dice, right? So they need to be a whole number. So if we go to interaction blueprints, st choice, vector int 2, int vector 2. File save. Save. And now if we break this and do this and this, it shouldn't be a decimal place. It should be how I want. Up here, interact, 0 out of 0. So that's probably lost this default value, right? Choose wisely, 1 out of 6. Cool. Obviously this function will later on also do things like take the base odds and the overriding of classes and all that sort of stuff and just calculate the odds. So maybe this should just be calculate odds. At the moment it just has to have on begin play because there's no way to change that, but it will in the future. So then let's make this have two. No, let's leave it one option. Okay. Oof. In terms of our hierarchy of things going on, we now have our interactive objects. They have their choice data. They're passing through that choice data to the UI, and so this UI now needs to create and throw the dice, and then tell the interactive object the result. And then we can start figuring out results. So what you should now figure out now is how do we actually test these odds, which is probably doing the hardest part of this whole project, which is making the dice. So what I want to do is, firstly, let's do one interaction. So I've got this interaction. It's very simple. We should probably create a cancel button first, actually. Interaction. So probably need a new simple button. Button on the canvas panel with some text, and this button will be size to content, and our padding will be 2 and 2. I'll save. The text will just say X. Maybe it should be a capital X. And then that should be a square actually. So padding. So we just do left, right, 10, 1, 10, 1. squarish. So this button is going to be cancel or btn underscore cancel. It's a variable, it's anchors bottom right, and it's 1 1, it's bottom right, and it's 0 0, and let's just move it minus 100, minus 100. Actually, what is this? It's on minus 90. Cancel button should not be higher than that, so minus 90, and then should be further in minus 90. So now we have this button here. We press that, it should cancel the interaction. Button cancel on clicked. It should get player controller pass to top down controller. This should also be a pure. It's always going to be this pure cast, and we will do a set in menu false, and we'll also do a I guess this interactable should probably also know what called it. So widget blueprint interaction should probably also have a variable which is calling actor, which is an actor reference. Then that actor reference is exposed. It's exposed, and it's goes on spawn, compile save. The calling actor is going to be self, and then this interaction, when you cancel, you get the calling actor, check if it's valid. If it is valid, end interaction message, and it should just say finished no, and then nothing else matters. It didn't get finished, it got cancelled. And then we should also remove widget from parent. That'd be self, and that should happen no matter if that was. This is a sequence node, so that's cleaner. We do this, this, and we organize all those so they're nice. On cancel, you say, are we in a menu? No, not anymore. We say the interactable should stop its interaction, so it should know that it's no longer being interacted with. It might have things like animations or something else that needs to be driven by that, and then we should be able to move again, and the UI should be removed. Perfect. That's honestly pretty neat, tidy, as initial system passes go. So let's go back to what happens if you select one. So what we need to do is create a dice mesh quickly. So let's just quickly do that in Maya. I need to sign in, so 1 second. Off that. Let's see if I can remember my Autodesk login. Did eventually remember it on like the 4th try. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. No, I don't want 2-step verification, thank you. So we need to just create a quick die mesh. How do dice? How do dice look? We create a new thing, and we say that that thing is just going to be a simple polymodeling cube. Make it a little bit bigger, this big, and we're going to very simply bevel a small fraction, like 0.05, and we will also then mesh display soften edges. So we're going to do poly style, so maybe we leave the edges harsh. And then if we go UV editor, and we turn off our grid, and we select UV shell, and we unfold along. Okay. And we check our grid. The grid looks fine. And we get UV shell, and we just make it a little bit smaller, tiny bit smaller, so it doesn't go off any edges. And that's that. And let's do align and setup, or range and layout. Where's the rotate transform? Rotate 90. Boop. This is matches my reference image. And we'll just open up Photoshop. Close this. Why is this doing weird things? Oh, it's because the fucking... This is huge. That's why it's doing weird things. Let's check the rotation. Rotate 0. Shouldn't be rotated at all. And it should have a center of gravity like that. Cool. And let's make a quick new file. It will just be 1K. That's good enough for this. And in Maya, in our UV editor, like this. And just roughly, this is going to be very hastily done, but should be fine for a quick block out. If we just paste this, right sort of thing, we just make it snap like that. 1 pixel right, up, like that. And now what we can do is just lower this opacity, plus, what color should the dye be? White with black, right? So if we just do a very light, creamy off-white grey, like this, and fill our background. And then with the dye, do a nice dark color. And we just do a little 1. 1. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, boy, this unwrapping is different to my layout. But that's fine actually, it's going to all be the same. 1, 2, halfway between. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll export, quick export as PNG. And we'll put this into, I think I've got a personal projects. Eggs, new folder, assets. We'll open, we'll name this T_die blockout. And we will close this, grab this object file, export selection, OneDrive, personal projects, Mauro Higgs, assets, die. Lockout. So now if we go back to our thing and we go into interaction, new folder assets, new folder meshes, new folder textures, new folder materials, then meshes, personal projects, or Higgs, assets, FBX, prior preset, conversion, bake meshes, only nope, add curve, import static meshes, combine static meshes, combine all, import collisions, build, import morph targets. Is there a tangent? Recompute tangents? No. Import. Did I import materials as well? Oh well, that's fine for this one. I'll later on _die blockout. Later on I'll use a master material. Move here. Textures. Import our texture very quickly. Materials, open this up. Oh, this is not what I want at all. I don't want to use this. Force delete. New material, die blockout. Give me a simple material editor, please. And in textures, drag this texture, base color, specular, roughness 1, and emissive none, normal none, all good. Save. This is a very simple blockout material to use. And now if we go to our meshes, we do blockout. That should give us this. So what I need to do now is a mirror board to show our workings. So when you're on the screen here, you're doing this stuff. What I want to happen is dice appear here on the front, depending on how many you need. And then you swipe up Or maybe for the moment I'll just add a select and then a button here that says roll. So when you select it, the dice appear. When you press roll, they get flung out. Rather than doing a dragging thing, I think that's too complicated for right now. We're blocking out mechanics. So select, and then a button comes up that says roll, and the dice appear around it. And there'll be physics actors. You roll them, they get added a spin and a velocity. Maybe just a spin and then they just drop. I don't want them landing off the screen. So what I probably do is create like a magical tray of sorts, where if you have like a little grid thing, the die come out and they can bounce around inside the magic box so they don't leave the screen. Magic or invisible, we'll see, but yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's going to be me done for today, I think. I think tackling that is too much. We've got the meshes ready, we've got the functions ready. Next time we will take that idea and implement it and get our choices happening, which is the key next step. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And if you've chatted with me today, thanks so much. And make sure to subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.